You're running away! Real men ride 3 pedals. Why stick shift? That was a cool thing when I was like 14. It's still the coolest thing. What's up, wretches? We are excited. We got our Viper loaded up. We're about to head to FL2K, Bradenton Motorsports Park. Our first time ever going to FL2K. First time we're ever going to Bradenton. It's actually the longest we've ever driven for a race. So we're going to be driving like 10 and a half, 11 hours. Excited that Dalton's going to be helping me drive, but I could not make that on my own. Bring the Viper in the roll racing class, as well as the stick shift class down there with some big heavy hitters. So let's hit the road, yeah.
Mustang versus Camaro next. Jill Hicks right side of the 70-mile Camaro.
So this is what it's like to race stick shift.
So now the car's starting to get sideways, and that chute is very small. So the problem is it's not going to pull the car straight. But getting up on 3 wheels there as he comes around in front of the Viper and almost collected the front end of that car, and he's still rolling at this point.
Well, we just got back from FL2K. We did have a good time. Pretty sure we broke the diff in the Viper. As you saw in the video, kind of launched in the second qualifier. I launched a little bit and then kind of to the right. After that, just made lots of noises in the rear end. Whenever we turned, I tried to do a burnout and made lots of terrible noises. Did not put the power down at all trying to race first round. Even though we were qualified #1, we just went out. I just got to tuning this 800 horsepower Subaru, and Dalton's about to pull the diff out of the Viper. We've still got our 06 over there, which is still not together ready. We got our 01 on the dyno. We're finishing up some videos we just posted of some 01 intake testing. I think the torque tube's gonna have to come back out of that. 3 stick shift cars.
So this is what it's like to race stick shift.
This is what it's like.
After everything breaking, why do you do this to yourself? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, stick shift racing is hard. It is difficult. Not everyone is cut out for it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So it is easy. Turbo LS Fox Body Mustangs. You know why? Because everyone has one. That's how you know it's easy. It's the crowd. Easy thing to do.
If it came to that and that's all there was, or, probably, get out of racing.
Some of us stick shift guys may be a little hard-headed, but it is a much more difficult, it takes more skill, but it is funner. It is more rewarding, I think. It is definitely different. We are a small group of guys at the track compared to 90 to 95% of the Mustangs that are out there racing. But don't follow the crowd. Jesus says in Matthew 7:13, enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction. There are many who enter it. That's the way the crowd's going. The crowd's going towards the wide gate, the easy path. It just says, I believe in God, I'll try to be a good person. But the gate is narrow and the way is small. It leads to eternal life. Very few find it. You know, the sad reality is people think the vast majority of us go to heaven. And Jesus said it's a very small group of people. They're unique and different. Pick a hard and narrow path. It's not the easy way of life, not easy believism. No, it's hard, it's narrow, it costs you something. Later on in the Gospels, Jesus said, if anyone wishes to follow me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, even lose his life. It may cost you everything, but at bare minimum, following after Jesus is going to cost you something. The disciple of Jesus was never portrayed by Jesus as the easy path, comfortable path, but always hard, difficult. It's going to take devotion. Very similar to stick shift race. Even in Jesus' day, following after him, being actually a true committed disciple of Jesus was very rare. There's only few who actually did it. Those large groups of crowds that would listen to him talk, and like, yeah, that sounds pretty good, he's a cool guy. But they didn't actually follow him. We weren't actually on the narrow path because it was going to cost them something. Jesus actually promised persecution, being hated by the world, because true disciples of Jesus don't keep their mouth closed. They proclaim that he is bringing a kingdom and that he is king and that every knee will bow. So why are they willing to suffer? Why are they willing to not be popular, be outcast, and be weird, and be hated by the world for following Jesus? It's because of what Jesus promised. He is the narrow gate and the narrow path, and it leads to life. Not only life in eternity, we're not talking about Joel Osteen's your best life now in the sense of the American dream, health, wealth, and prosperity, but in some sense, Jesus actually does bring our best life now, because he saves us from our sin now, transforms us now. He makes us more like him, increasing in holiness and sanctification, purifying us of our sin, all now. Salvation isn't just something that happens after we die. It's something that the beginning of a process on this earth that starts now, and it transforms us to be able to enjoy eternal life forever. But eternal life does start now. When we have our eyes fixed on him and how awesome he is as our king, we're willing to endure the hardship. We're willing to be swimming against the crowd, the guy not in the Fox Body Mustang at the drag strip. So all the Gospels present Jesus as a king who is bringing in the gospel of the kingdom. When you decide to follow Jesus Christ, you become a citizen of that kingdom. You love him, you listen to him, and you proclaim him. You proclaim that he is king and every knee will bow. And no matter where you go, whether it's at work, at the drag strip, you're always trying to find ways with other Christians in local churches to proclaim that Jesus is king and that every knee will bow, and that he's a good king. And he wants us to have joy. Abundant life is found in him. Not in the way of the world, not in being popular, but in the narrow path. It costs you your sin, it costs you your pride. Because following Jesus is saying, God, I have no other hope. I have no other choice unless you are merciful to me. In Jesus Christ, there is mercy. But you have to give up all self-righteousness. It costs you all of that. That's the cost. Sometimes it'll cost you your life. Sometimes it'll cost you your friends. But there's a great reward in being a citizen of Jesus Christ's kingdom. And that's what we're here to proclaim. How should we as Christians live our lives?
Paul said in 2 Corinthians 4, we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. The things that we see in the world, they're transient, they're temporal. But the things that we cannot see are eternal. He also says in Colossians that we should focus on the things above.
It's our job as believers. You know, I was super excited to meet Adam and Relentless Pursuit Ministries at Streetcar Braggin Rights. What do? We encourage one another. We poked each other. We provoked each other. That's what Hebrews 10:25 tells us to do. To stir up one another, to provoke one another, to agitate one another to love and good works. To remind each other that these cars are awesome and have a great time. But our job here as citizens of Christ's kingdom is to proclaim his kingdom and invite others to participate.
Everyone should do it. It's the most fun thing you could possibly do.
Because it's different, it's fun, it takes more skill.
Why stick shift? Don't have a purse in my car.
Why stick shift? Oh, I'm stupid. So this is what it's like to race stick shift.
Alright, so update on the Viper. It's the rear diff. I cleaned out all of the metal that was in the old one. This is just a few pieces that I happen to keep just to show you guys. RTV all around the new diff. Clean the surfaces up, put a little light coat on this side. I am going to double check through and make sure there's no more metal while this kind of sits for a second. We're here once again working on the Z06. This is the first time I actually touched it since it's blew the head gasket. So let's go ahead and get this thing in the air and start draining the fluid. This is where we're at so far. Got everything disconnected, the front. Everything went fairly smoothly. Now we're going to pump up the lifters. We got our dampener back. I walked the bolts in, so this is seated. Just got to put Loctite on these bolts, torque them down.
We just picked up our refurbished cylinder heads. They just put new springs in it, cleaned them, decked them a few thousand. Here, do BTR high RPM springs. Did find out we have Victory titanium valves. They just have mainly stainless steel valves. Dalton just got our refreshed ATI crank balancer. He's got steering rack back in, so pretty much ready for the cylinder head. I'm going to go over here and try to relearn how to port exhaust manifolds. So I am going to port match these slightly. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but we definitely have exhaust back pressure. I'm just trying to help it out. I used to port exhaust manifolds on Evos like 14 years ago.
So I went ahead and cleaned the surfaces off of the head. Went ahead and put the head gasket on. Everything else seems to be fine, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw the head on.
So, in reinstalling, Dalton got 14 of the 16 installed. Found one that's slightly bent. Found some that looked like they may be flexing. You can tell it's bent there. That's at 8,000 RPM, no limit shift. We got some BTR, a little bit thicker. They are slightly longer, so we're gonna have to spend a lot of time figuring out and adjusting lift to preload now, because these are basically 50,000 longer, and there is some difference in manufacturing tolerances. They are thicker. Hopefully we will never have any more valve train issues. Dalton just checked the straps like 2 hours ago. He straps car every day of his life on our dyno. Not even strapped. What in the world?
Will not believe who we just met.
Yeah, I found some of the fastest guys here so far. Faster than us. This is Andy?
No, I'm Glenn.
Glenn, I'm sorry.
The slow guy over there is Andy.
Andy?
I'm Andy.
Yeah. We're over here talking about how fast our cars are and our micro records. Glenn here. What you got, Glenn?
Fastest 10-gen Accord in Canada.
Oh, Canada! In the whole country?
Whole country.
You know how big Canada is?
40 million people.
Way bigger than
Number
America.
one.
And Andy here.
I have the world's fastest 10-gen Accord stick shift, and I hold the 60 to 130 record, and the 100 and the 150 mile record.
He's going to break that
small
today.
Country of America.
They found us because we were over here talking about how we have the fastest air-conditioned stick shift car, and we're trying to have the fastest piston Viper. Ride comes before the fall, so we got to stay humble. Good luck racing this, guys.
Yeah. Good to meet you guys. Good to meet you.
Put your car out there, too.
Try, hopefully it doesn't break.
We will edit that out, I promise.
You can leave it in there. It breaks all the time, everyone.
First pass.
There.
Last time we broke the differential.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
Hey, Aaron's swapping torque converters all night. He can just swap our diff for us.
Yeah, we already got a backup plan. There we go. Good luck.
Driving it?
Which way are we going? Forward or backwards? Backwards?
Backwards.
Okay, yeah, we gotta go backwards off the trailer. Go hit the turbos. Turbos in reverse. What's doing out here?
Streetcar Braggin Rights.
What? Fan right there!
That's Streetcar Braggin Rights. About to go see if this car can compete in roll racing.
Hey, it's got a slipper clutch in it. Why would it roll race?
It drives, don't it?
Because our Viper's broke. 304 PSI.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to like drag race at like 18 pounds on radials?
Oh yeah, this one is at 36.
That's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Fast was you going?
I only went 106 sec 2.
So right here, guys, we have the world's quickest and fastest air-conditioned stick shift car. Period, right? So
far as we
basically
know.
the fastest stick shift car out there with air condition, which means he can bring his family to these events and drive around. That's pretty cool.
My 2-year-old actually texted in earlier. Oh no! You're running away! How are you going so fast?
What is your best ET in mile an hour?
So it's been an 8.3 at 166, and it's mile per hour at 175 before.
All right, internet warriors, let us know. Is he actually
Yes.
the fastest air conditioned stick shift car?
Let us know.
Hopefully he is, because it's pretty cool. All right, guys, remember, this is potentially the world's quickest stick shift car with air conditioning. Dang, he's moving out with the AC.
We're out here racing today. Got some catastrophic damage.
much sleep did you get?
Well, the final round of Squall Tower was at 3:38 a.m. Here, guy's a great announcer, but 4 o'clock in the morning, like that pastor says, yeah, maybe truthful. I had a good tone, but it was not the right time. Brother, we are trying to sleep.
How'd we end up?
Qualified stick shift outlaw.
Oh.
So, like, we're the only air-conditioned car in there. We got John Rogers in the IDS camouflage 240. But he spent a lot of time dialing that car in. They obviously own a suspension company. Had a much better reaction time. Don't have a ton going for him, other than he has a new setup. But he's already with 7-1 on the new setup. So, Lord wills, keep racing. If not, we'll pack up and enjoy our time here and go home. I just can't figure out why my car is slower. You think that'll slow down my turbo speed? Well, we're back. As you can see, we did make it to the Outlaw stick shift class, so we qualified 12th out of 50, which I was happy about that. Also got the fastest stick shift Nissan in the world. 1.1 second gap wasn't that bad. 3 830 passes back to back to back. Oh, we've got some interesting data to show you. Precursor Holley EFI sucks. Never put it on another car in my life. Haltech, Motec, anything actually better than Holley. Let me show you some stuff. So, not that this would have given us a 1.1 second advantage over John Rogers. It's really cool. Like, I really like John's car. Like, I have nothing bad to say about John. Very stand-up guy. I was looking at the data. We'll look at the pass. Felt like the clutch was slipping a little bit, which we had basically the last 2 passes. Dalton here had added some clutch counterweight. Basically, as the RPM increases, the weight, the levers creates more clamping force. So if you're slipping in high RPMs like 3rd and 4th gear, you basically want to add counterweight so it has more clamping force. But we were kind of slipping all across the board. So your counterweight is your initial clutch weight. Let's take a look at the Holley data log, shall we? Here's our pass. We launch at 4,900 RPM, built roughly 7 pounds of boost. It launches pretty good. So one of the ways we measure with an adjustable clutch is we measure the engine RPM versus how fast the transmission is actually turning. So your clutch is in between your engine and your transmission. The adjustable clutch, when it's slipping, transmission is not spinning as fast as the engine. How we measure clutch slip is the difference between engine RPM and transmission RPM. We launch, we're going roughly 12 miles an hour. Our engine's at 6,200 RPM. Our transmission is only spinning 2,000 RPM. Lock-up is where basically those 2 points meet. So where does the clutch stop slipping? Here, roughly it stops slipping right around 7,200 RPM. It finally locks up. And we're already making 22 pounds boost, which is pretty good, 60 miles an hour. To the top of 1st gear. And we're having a bunch of issues with 1st to 2nd, so I started actually pushing the clutch in for 2nd. 3rd and 4th, we just shift off the rev limiter. See, we shift to 2nd. In this pass, we've actually got 6,800 RPM to 5,600, which is 1,200 RPMs of slip. It's more clamping force on the clutch because we're slipping quite a bit. Slip is great for launching and getting out of the hole without spinning. It actually slows you down. When your clutch is slipping, you're not putting all the power the engine is making to the rear wheels. Here's where it gets interesting. I tuned all kinds of cars over the last 15 years. I've tuned stock ECU cars that have better functionality and fail-safes on this than Holley. And Holley, you wonder why your stock prices suck. Here we are, 3rd gear. What's our flex fuel content? Zoom in on that, Dalton.
85.
Car has ethanol in it. We have a table in Holley. Basically enables to run flex fuel. You have to have a table that determines if I have ethanol in the car, how much more fuel should I add? Or if I have pump gas, how much less fuel should I add? The fuel composition table. All modern ECUs have them. But the issue is, at some point, basically right into 3rd gear, these are the last 2 runs. In the 1st run, I didn't even notice this because I wasn't logging ethanol content because I was like, it's got 85% in it. 7,000 RPM 3rd gear. All of a sudden, we get a low sensor voltage error. So what does the Holley ECU does? You know, you'd think like it had 85%, it would just stay at 85%, but no. It goes from 85% to 0%. What do you think happens when you have a fuel that requires 35 to 40% more fuel volume? All of a sudden it goes back to pump gas. It says, oh, we've got 93 in it.
Mid-pull.
Mid-pull! It's going to remove from our table here 25% fuel. We're going 25% lean at that point, which isn't great. It also reverts to our 93 octane timing table and boost table. pulls out 8 to 10 degrees of timing, and also lowers the boost target. But the fact that it's removing 25% fuel, the closed loop just can't keep up fast enough. So from if your closed loop's pretty close and it's maybe pulling 2%, all of a sudden adding the maximum it can, which I have mine set within 5-6%. All of a sudden now we're, even with adding 6%, we're 15% off roughly. Car's not running lean. At least it pulled a little bit of timing, but all other modern ECUs, like even Cobb on a stock ECU Subaru, stock ECU, no $3,000 ECU with additional harness, I can set it in the Cobb to above a certain load or RPM just to lock the ethanol content there, no matter what the sensor reads. And Holly, guess what? No such setting. So now I've actually modified the table to have a failsafe. So if it has an error, guess what? It drops down to our 0% column, which adds 24% fuel. Enough that the closed loop can still adjust 5 or 6%. The bad news is, basically had 2 passes like this, and now I think it may have a blown head gasket. In third gear on the first pass, first had the flex fuel sensor issue. Our coolant pressure was 22 degrees. One pass later, 42 PSI. I said 22 degrees, I meant 22 PSI. Now we're at 42 PSI. Holly, if you ruin my head gasket, I'm literally gonna throw this Dominator. I don't know where I'm gonna throw it. I'm probably gonna shoot it with ski and make a YouTube video.
Hey, geez. Yeah!
And then I'm gonna ship it to you. Because you already told me your left side driver side wideband isn't working. You can send us the ECU and we'll tell you if it's bad or not in the ECU, but we can't fix it for you. We have a 30-day warranty, but sometimes we extend it to 90 days. American-made quality, right? Haltex, Motex, not Hollies. All right, that rounds up my tech tip. It is Tuesday, actually. Tech tip Tuesday for trying not to buy a Holley ECU. Yes, you can go fast on Holley. It's not the best. There's so much better ECUs out there, especially when you're spending 6 figures on a race car. Pretty disappointed. I'm really hoping we don't have a blown head gasket. Because we're racing next month, and I am not replacing the head gasket for them. This is basically the exact same place we were at last year after Street Car Braggin Rights. Oh, it threw the water pump belt. Up to 250. Maybe it has a blown head gasket. We'll see. If you have any questions about today's content or Bible study, please reach out to us. You can find us on Facebook, Wretched Racing. You can email us at wretchedracing@gmail.com. If you'd like a Bible or any kind of gospel material, we would love to send it to you for free. We also have t-shirts and hoodies. Thanks for watching.